Hello students, welcome to EPG Pathshala. I am Meenal Dhal from Department of Anthropology, University of Delhi. Today we will discuss about the module Degradation of Environment and Role of Society from the paper Ecological Anthropology, Cultural and Biological Dimension. So let's see what learning objectives covers in this module. The module provides introduction about the information of environmental degradation and role of society related to environmental tissues. It includes causes of environmental degradation and effects of environmental degradation. This module also enables the students at postgraduate level to understand the implication of environmental degradation on the society and how to stop it. Now, we'll start with the introduction. Human societies everywhere are closely linked to their natural surroundings. This module examines the interrelationships between social integration and environment, the impact that different patterns of social relations have on the state of the environment, and the influence of the environment, especially environmental degradation on social structure and institutions. Pattern of social integration, influence, natural resources, utilization, and thus affect the condition of the physical environment in a number of ways. The dynamics involved range from micro level phenomenon that collectively have a large impact on the environmental condition to change the national and international social and economic structures. Now, social changes affecting the performance of local level resource management systems include population growth, the spread of national and international markets, and changes in land tenure systems, particularly those that result in the land concentration. These factors have undermined traditional mechanism discouraging overexploitation of natural resources. In addition, inequitable social structures including unequal control over resources on the basis of class or gender have been implicated in environmental deterioration. Now, environmental decline also impacts upon the social structure. Social groups are affected differently. Some may benefit from the changes in price structure or in social relations that result from scarcities caused by environmental stress. More commonly, however, environmental decline adversely affect the health, well-being and livelihood opportunities of the individuals affected by pollution or natural resource depletion. Soil erosion, deforestation, loss or depletion of animal and plant species limit the productive opportunities of vast number of people. Policy responses to environmental degradation have taken three major forms. The first is conservationism, second is in primary environmental care, and third is monetary cost benefit approach. Each of these has proven effective in certain circumstances, but each also has its limitations. The conservation measures have often been able to halt or reverse environmental decline, especially in developed countries. In developing countries, however, the effectiveness of conservationism has been limited, while its human costs have not always been adequately recognized. Primary environmental care focuses on the needs of the individual resource user. This approach has been very effective in some areas but requires an institutional capacity often lacking precisely where environmental degradation is most severe. The cost benefit approach of mainstream environmental economics is also potentially useful, especially in industrialized countries. However, the reduction of environmental worth to monetary terms subsumes the livelihood concern and the value of weaker social groups to those of the stronger ones, and the environmental outcomes is not necessarily positive. Now we'll start with the environmental degradation. Environmental degradation is the disintegration of the earth or deterioration of the environment through consumption of acids. For example, air, water and soil, the destruction of environments and the eradication of wildlife. It is characterized as any change or aggravation to nature's turf seen to be undesirable. Ecological effect or degradation is created by the consolidation of an effectively substantial and expanding human populace, constantly expanding monetary development or per capita fortune, and the application of acid, exhausting and polluting technology. It occurs when Earth's natural resources are depleted and environment is compromised in the form of extinction of species, pollution in air, water and soil, and rapid growth in population. Environmental degradation is one of the largest threats that are being looked in the world today. The United Nations International Strategy for Disaster Reduction characterizes environmental degradation as the lessening of the limit of the earth to meet social and environmental destinations and needs. The environmental degradation can happen in a number of ways. At the point when environment are rigged or common assets are exhausted, the environment is considered to be corrupted and harmed. There are a number of different techniques that are being used to prevent this, including environmental resources, protection, and general protection. Now, what are the environmental issues? Environmental issues can be seen by long-term ecological effects, some of which can demolish whole environment. An environment is a unique unit and incorporates all the living and non-living components that live inside it. The plants and creatures are evident parts of the environment, but it also includes the things on which they depend on, for example, streams, lakes, and soil. Now, the environmental surroundings get to be divided when technological advancement splits up areas of land. Now, what are the causes of environmental degradation? Some environmental life species require substantial areas to help provide food, living space, and other different assets. These creatures are called area specific. At the point when the biome is divided, the vast patches of living space don't exist anymore. It gets to be more troublesome for the wildlife to get the assets they need in order to survive. The environment goes on, even though the animal and plant life are not there to help sustain it properly. Now, based on the discussion so far, we know that healthy environment is essential for the very existence of human society and other living organisms. But environmental degradation is going on unabated. We are being cautioned every now and then about the deterioration in the environment and its consequences like global warming, changing climatic conditions, impending water crisis, decreases fertility of agricultural land, and increasing the health problems. There is an urgent need to take all possible steps to check environmental degradation. In order to consider the required steps to be taken for doing so, it is necessary to understand the causes of environmental degradation. There are different important factors which we'll discuss one by one, like social factors which include growing population, poverty, urbanization, and changing life. Another is economic factor like agricultural development, industrialization, or economic development. Then there are other factors which include land disturbance, pollution, landfills, deforestation, or natural causes. So, one by one, we'll describe all these factors. First, we'll take up the social factors. In social factors, the first factor is the growing population. Population is the greatest resource of any country and a major contributory factor for development. And yet, it is a major cause of environmental degradation, as we find the rapid pace of population growth has led to the excessive utilization of natural resources. Huge population also leads to a huge production of waste. The resultant outcomes are loss of biodiversity, pollution of air, water, and soil, and increase the pressure on the arable land. All these have been putting great stress on the environment. If you take the case of India, it supports 17% of world population on just 2.4% of the world land area. Another social factor is poverty. Poverty is said to be both the cause and effect of environmental degradation. You may have seen that the poor people use natural resources more than the rich. They use these for buildings, their huts, for cooking, for their food, and for meeting many other needs. In this way, they deplete these resources faster, as they have no opportunity of gaining access to other types of resources that are primarily exploited by the rich people. As we know, the more resources are utilized, the more degraded the environment becomes. And more the environment deteriorates, the more improvised the poor will be. Now, the another factor of the social aspect is urbanization. You may have observed a large number of poor people from villages moving to towns, cities, and mega cities to earn their livelihood. This has led to unplanned and rapid expansion of cities, creating enormous pressure on the infrastructural facilities. If you live in a city, you may be experiencing these pressures on housing, water, and electric supply and sewage. Now, you would be aware of the growing slums. Urban slums are major sources of pollution and suffer from the worst kind of unhygienic conditions. The fast pace of urbanization has also been responsible for the depletion of forests and irrational use of other resources. Now, another factor is changing lifestyle. There has been a remarkable change in the style of living of people. This change is visible not only among the people living in cities and towns, but also among those who lives in the villages. The changing lifestyle of people has enormously increased their level of consumption. It has also resulted in the increase of human activities that are causing serious damage to environment in many ways. It has contributed to air, water, sound, vehicle and industrial pollution. The fallout of the fast increasing use of modern gadgets like refrigerator and air conditioners is the release of harmful gases in the atmosphere. This has been causing global warming, which is very dangerous. In fact, due to the overuse of modern gadgets, harmful gases like carbon monoxide and carbon dioxide are released, which led to global warming. These are some of the social factors which we discussed. Now we'll come to the economic factors. In economic factors, the first factor which affect environment is agricultural development. Agricultural development is so important for a country like ours, and this has been affecting the environmental adversely. Various kinds of farming activities, especially directed towards increasing agricultural production, have a direct impact on environment. These activities have been contributing to soil erosion, land salination, alkalization, and loss of nutrients. As we have been experiencing in India, the green revolution has led to overexploitation of land and water resources. Extensive use of fertilizers and pesticides has been a major source of contamination of water bodies and land degradation. Another economic factor is industrialization. Rapid industrialization has been the foremost contributor to environmental degradation. Based on the information collected through various sources, we find that most of the industries adopt the technologies that place a heavy load on environment. These technologies led to intensive use of resources and energy. The current pace of industrialization, therefore, is resulting in the depletion of natural resources like fossil fuel, minerals, and timber, and contamination of water, air, and land. All these are causing immense damage to ecosystem and leading to health hazards. Another factor is economic development. It is a fact that the pattern of economic development has also been creating environmental problems. The pace of economic development has been putting immense pressure on resources. The economy today has become consumption intensive, which demands greater use of resources and promotes lifestyle that lead to wastage. The irrational use of resources and wastages are resulting in depletion of environment. Now we'll talk about the other factors. In other factors which affect the environment are land disturbance. A more basic cause of environmental degradation is land damage. Numerous weedy plant species, for example, garlic, mustard, are both foreign and obtrusive. A rupture in the environmental surroundings provides for them a chance to start growing and spreading. These plants can assume control over nature, eliminating the local greenery. The result is territory with a solitary predominant plant which doesn't give satisfactory food asset to all the environmental life. Whole environment can be destroyed because of these invasive species. Another factor is pollution. Pollution in whatever form, whether it is air, water, land or noise, is harmful for the environment. Air pollution pollutes the air that we breathe, which cause health issues. Water pollution degrades the quality of water that we use for drinking purpose. Land pollution results in degradation of earth's surface as a result of human activities. Noise pollution can cause irreparable damage to our ears when exposed to continuous large sounds like honking of vehicles on a busy road or machines produce large noise in a factory or a mill. Another factor is landfills. Landfills pollute the environment and destroy the beauty of the city. Landfills come within the city due to large amount of waste that gets generated by households, industries, factories and hospitals. Landfills pose a great risk to the health of the environment and the people who live there. Landfills produce foul smell when burned and cause huge environmental degradation. Now, another important factor is deforestation. Deforestation is the cutting down of trees to make way for more homes and industries. Rapid growth in population and urban sprawl are two of the major causes of deforestation. Apart from that, use of forest land for agriculture, animal grazing, harvests for fuel, wood and lodging are some of the other causes of deforestation. Deforestation contributes to global warming as decreased forest size put carbon back into the environment. Another factor is the natural cause. Things like earthquakes, tidal waves, storms and wildfires can totally crush nearby animals and plants group to the point where they can no longer survive in those areas. This can either come to fruition through physical demolition as the result of a specific disaster or by the long-term degradation of assets by the presentation of an obstructive foreign species to the environment. Now, what are the effects of environmental degradation? It impact on the human health. How? Human health might be at the receiving end as a result of the environmental degradation. Areas exposed to toxic airs can cause respiratory problem like pneumonia and asthma. Millions of people are known to have died of due to indirect effects of air pollution. Then loss of biodiversity is another factor. Biodiversity is important for maintaining balance of the ecosystem in the form of combating pollution, restoring nutrients, protecting water resources and stabilizing the climate. Deforestation, global warming, overpopulation and pollution are few of the major causes for loss of biodiversity. Then another point is ozone layer depletion. Ozone layer is responsible for protecting earth from the harmful ultraviolet rays. The presence of chlorofluorocarbons, hydrochlorofluorocarbons in the atmosphere is causing the ozone layer to deplete. As it will deplete, it will emit harmful radiation back to the earth. Another point which we can discuss is the loss for tourism industry. The deterioration of environment can be a huge setback for tourism industry that relies on the tourists for their daily livelihood. Environmental damage in the form of loss of green cover, loss of biodiversity, huge landfills, increased air and water pollution can be a big turn off for most of the tourists. Now, what is the economic impact on it? The huge cost that a country may have to bear due to environmental degradation can have big economic impact in terms of restoration of green cover, cleaning up of landfills and protection of endangered species. The economic impact can also be in terms of loss of tourism industry. As we can see, there are a lot of things that can have an effect on the environment. If we are not careful, we can contribute to the environmental degradation that is occurring all around the world. We can, however, take action to stop it and take care of the world that we live in by providing environmental education to the people, which will help them pick familiarity with their surroundings that will enable to take care of environmental concerns, thus making it more useful and protected for our children and other future generations. Now, what are the implications of environmental degradation on society? The degradation of environment is thus a very serious concern, and it is occurring primarily due to excessive and reckless exploitation and unscientific management of natural resources. In fact, it has emerged as a global challenge for all the countries of the world. The pollution of air, water and soil caused by emission of harmful gases, release of industrial effluents, urban waste and radioactive waste and reckless use of fertilizers and pesticides is threatening the very survival of modern civilization. Here are few facts where you may realize the seriousness of environmental degradation, and these facts, when you know, these are as follows. About 50% of geographical area of India suffers from varying degree of degradation caused by deforestation, overgrazing, agricultural mismanagement, shifting cultivation, soil erosion, soil salination, water logging or acid rains. Second fact is over 5.3 billion tons of topsoil is lost every year due to soil erosion. The average soil loss is estimated to be covered 16 tons per hectare per year, which translates into approximately 1 millimeter each year or 1 centimeter every decade. It takes nature about 1,000 years to form 1 centimeter of soil. Another point is the production of cereals will drop remarkably due to global warming. Scientists around the world are getting increasingly alarmed over global warming's impact on human health. Warming climate is responsible for spread of serious infectious diseases. Increasing temperature are lengthening the growing season of some crops. Another fact is that Himalayan glaciers are melting. The river originating in Himalayas will get dried. Westerly winds have been disrupted recent years, causing less rain during the winter season. And one of the major cause of environmental degradation is the generation of solid waste. Do you know that all over the world people throw away 1,000 million tons of solid waste annually? If we pile up all these at sea level in the shape of a cone, a pyramid with a circular base of 1 kilometer region, its peak would be higher than the Mount Everest. So we are creating at least one Mount Everest of this waste materials every year. We can save our environment from degradation and at the same time create wealth in three ways. These three ways are recycling, reusing and reducing. The details are shown in the table. It shows that what to recycle and its impact on the environment, what and how to reuse, what to reduce, how to consume and what to reduce. Now, another point is how to stop this degradation. There are various ways which we can help to decrease degradation in our environment. Some of these include purchase recycled products, conserve water, do not litter or toss waste into inappropriate places, conserve energy, join an awareness group, talk with others about the impact of environmental degradation, be an advocate to save our planet. Now let's summarize what we have read in this module. Human societies everywhere are closely linked to their natural surroundings. Pattern of social integration influence natural resource utilization and thus affect the condition of the physical environment in a number of ways. Environmental decline also impact on the social structure and social groups are affected differently. Individuals respond to environmental degradation in a variety of ways. Policy responses to environmental degradation have taken three major forms. The environmental degradation is the disintegration of the earth or deterioration of the environment. Environmental degradation is one of the largest threats that are being looked at in the world today. The reduction of the capacity of the environment to meet social and ecological objectives and needs. The environmental degradation is a result of socio-economical, technological or institutional activities. Environmental issues can be seen by long-term ecological effects, some of which can demolish whole environment. The environmental surroundings get to be divided when technological advancement split up areas of land. Some environmental life species require substantial areas to help provide food, living space and other different assets. The healthy environment is essential for the very existence of human society and other living organisms. The causes of environmental degradation are social factors which include growing population, poverty, urbanization, changing lifestyle, then economic factors, agricultural development, industrialization, economic development and other factors which include land disturbance, pollution, landfills, deforestation and natural causes. Our land, water and soil are comprised when people exhaust resources or release harmful chemicals into the air or land. There are a lot of things that can have an effect on the environment. The degradation of environment is thus a very serious concern. One of the major causes of environmental degradation is generation of solid waste. We can save our environment from degradation and At the same time, create wealth in three ways: by recycling, reusing, and reducing. There are ways which we can help to decrease the degradation in our environment. Thank you.